By the way, you folks, you people, make up the one inclusive minority group that there really is. Michael Pechovis was another individual in Berkeley. In the late 60s, sometime, I'm not sure exactly when Michael got hurt, but he was working in the Peace Corps in the middle of the Ethiopian desert. And they found this clear water pond one day. It was really hot. They decided it was 15 to 20 feet deep. No problem, they could dive into that. Fifth time Michael Pechovis dove in, he hit a sea turtle. Broke his neck. Took him 2 days in the back end of a Jeep, bouncing across the desert. And you can imagine it wasn't the Mayo Clinic that they got him to in the middle of the Ethiopian desert. Threw Michael's thyroid gland off. He'd go a week without eating, he'd gain 10 pounds. He'd eat a big meal and he'd lose 5 pounds. So for his 5th anniversary, a friend found in a pawn shop a big cracked sea turtle shell. Painted a big white 5 on it and gave it to Michael. Michael hung it on the wall. It was a trophy. I can tell you stories about Berkeley. I can tell you stories about Minneapolis. I can tell you stories about lots of things, but I'm not going to do that. Well, I've already done that. I'm not going to do that anymore. What I want you to do, folks, is to build on the 25 years and build out in the next 25 years. I like to equate our lives with building a wall. Some people don't like my analogy, but I love the analogy of every experience we have putting another brick in a wall. There's a song title there somewhere. But imagine if we're young, when we're little, and our mothers and fathers, hopefully there are both, will help us build a strong, rock-solid, sturdy foundation to develop, to build our lives on. And in each experience we have builds another block. And what happens then when we get a bad experience? How do we build up around that wall? I believe it's a process. It's a process that we have to understand that we're capable of doing. We have to understand that it's not about people with disabilities. It's about people with abilities. It's about people that have all kinds of skills, all kinds of things that they bring to the table, that you people bring to the table. It's not about what you can't do, it's about what you can do. And how we build on that. How we build the people around us. I like to talk about a circle of influence. You imagine you have a handful of pebbles, you walk out onto a dock at a lake. The water's perfectly smooth as glass. You throw a pebble in the water, what happens? It ripples. I did that in the middle school one day and a little boy said, "It sinks." He's right, he had a different perception than I did, but he's absolutely correct. Right? But imagine that pebble is you. That ripple is your ideas, it's your attitude, it's your energy, it's your knowledge. It goes in all directions around you. You throw another pebble in and that's your spouse, or your mother, or your father. And his or her ripple starts to intersect with yours. And he or she is changing you. Another pebble and it's another significant other. Another one, it's a friend, a classmate, a teammate, a coworker. Mary, John, David, Walt. Right. You got to tell Walt that I talked about it. Right. Now that he's a big shot, now he's in charge of the major donation program. He doesn't deal with the little guys. Now he's in the major donor program. Yeah. And before you know it, folks, you're being affected by everybody around you. And the thing is, you never know when somebody's going to affect your life. And you never know how. That is so cool. That's why I tell people the problem isn't the issue. The issue is how you deal with the problem. And once you recognize that you're capable, you can just use the process. But but we have to look at it from a positive perspective. I like to use one example. I'd like everybody in here that can to fold your arms. Just fold your arms for a minute. All right? Now, notice which arm is on top. Okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to fold them the other way. Somebody's laughing. Somebody's having a hard time. How many of you did that feel awkward for? Well, duh. Why did it feel awkward? It felt awkward because you weren't used to doing it. But I guarantee you, folks, that if you do that for a while, after a while, you'll get used to doing it, and you'll be able to fold your arms the other way. The night I broke my neck, I had to learn to fold my arms the other way, and I couldn't move my arms. So I had to start off from the very basic, just folding my arms. I bet he feels better now. Isn't that great? What a great sound. Yeah. The dog standing up and shaking off. I love it. Where's Jeff? Yeah, Jeff's gone. There he is. There he is. Yeah. Jeff's got Reggie's. Reggie and I, we have Jeff and Reggie and I have breakfast once or twice a week at BLB, Bryan Lake Bowl. We live on Lake Street. We're uptowners. We're old-time uptowners. Yeah, people call us sir now. Jeff and I are thinking about making a movie about the two of us. We're thinking about calling it Grumpy Old Gimps. Oh, come on, that's funny stuff.